Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.
7 Mile Radio.
Peace, peace, peace. What's up, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of the social media platforms all over the world. We're going to get it in today. We're talking about Kanye today. The title of today's show is Kayneism, Capitalism, and Judaism. What can we learn from it? I'm gonna discuss some very important points. I noticed that a lot of people have a lot of opinions. People are saying Kanye is crazy. People are saying that Kanye is an anti-Semite. People are saying that Kanye is a racist. People are saying that Kanye done lost his mind. Well, we're going to talk about all that today. And so I want you guys to join me on 7 Mile Radio. Join me on my page. Join me on YouTube, all of the social media platforms. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about Kanye. And let's talk about Kanye, and let's talk about what this discussion means for black people. What can we learn from the interaction between Kanye, his fans, Kanye and the Jewish community, and Kanye and himself? Let's talk about that. So let's figure that out. But before we get started, I always have to say what's up and send a shout out to my man, 7 Mile Mark, the super producer.
What's the word, brother? What's the word? I should have knew you was going to come in talking about this one today, man.
Hey, man.
I should have known, man, because it's been a lot of conversation about Kanye over the last couple of days and concerns of his remarks on the last couple of interviews, and it's had a lot of us up in arms, man, about like it's kind of almost divided us, I would say. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's been another one of them divisive types of conversations or situations, man. So I'm interested to hear your take on everything that he was talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm telling people to tag your people and tap in, period. Tag your people and tap in. But before we dig off into the Kanye, and I brought receipts with me, but before we dig off into the things that Kanye West said, let's talk about my birthday party on November 12th. Okay. So I just posted a video to my page telling everybody, updating everybody. I'm going to drop off tickets 33 and 34 today. Not 33 and 34 in total on the guest list. Physical tickets 33 and 34. The guest list got started a month ago. And so people were buying their spots a month ago. I'm saying that to say, don't wait, everybody. Buy your tickets. I don't want you guys cutting into me talking about he was acting funny. I couldn't even get a ticket. He couldn't sell me one ticket. I'm only going to sell a certain amount of tickets. We already have a number that we cutting off at. So if you want to be in the party, if you want to be in the building, get with us. Call me. I'm dropping the tickets off myself so I can know whose hands I'm putting the tickets in. We're going to have a good time. I just secured a comedian. Don't say who the comedian is. Okay. But
No. I was just telling her that I had the flyer on the screen for the information if anybody wanted to see it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, for sure. But the comedian is funny. He's an up-and-coming comedian in the city, and he's funny.
You can really call him up-and-coming, though, man. That man is go ahead.
So let me say it like this, then. This man is a seasoned veteran in the game, and he real smooth. So we're going to have a good time. You know that the food and the drinks are going to be free while they last. I think that the drinks will probably last all night because, you know, there's shots or whatever you guys like to partake in. But if you have some specific things that you like, you might want to bring them because they might not be there. And you are welcome to bring them. You can't bring them like just out, but you can be discreet. You can discreetly bring them in. I have complete control of what's going on at the door. And I have complete control of the entire space. I'm not being funny when I don't divulge the space. It's downtown Detroit. But what I really want people to understand is I want everybody to have a good time. And if you're not buying a ticket to come, there's really no reason for me to promote where the space is at, in my opinion. And, you know, and it's all love, but that's just how I operate. And anybody who know me, they know I've operated like that for years, so it's nothing new. And so, but we're going to have a good time, man. I want everybody to be there. Get your ticket today. Don't play around. 313-444-2055. I'm going to be in a full-blown suit, crispy. And, I'm going to get the suit cut and chopped up as soon as I come back. As soon as I come back from Dallas, I'm telling you, it's going to be all systems go with this party. It's going to be a good time. I'm giving stuff away. You guys are going to have a good time, man. You might meet your husband. You might meet your wife at this one, so you probably want to be in the building. Might have to work, but want to donate. I would really like for you to be there, Delana Wilcox. And so I would really like to see if we can get that day off. I would appreciate you donating to the young men, but it would be better if you were there. And because your right hand homegirl is definitely gonna be in the building. And so I need everybody who was watching this to tag somebody because we're getting ready to dig deep into this Kanye situation. So let's dive into this thing. So I don't remember the year, but this was before College Dropout dropped. I met Kanye West. And it wasn't like we saw a celebrity and we was waving and he talked to us, because if you know me, you know I don't talk to celebrities. I see them all the time. I'm on the elevator with them. I bump into them in traffic when I'm out of town, whatever. And I look past, I pretend like I don't know who they are every single time. The only time we having a conversation if it's organic. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to meet you. I don't care who it is and how famous they are. I consider myself a celebrity. You don't know me, I don't know you. And so that's how I treat it. So this wasn't a situation where, you know, we were trying to meet somebody. I'm going to break down how it kind of went down. So many, many years ago, one of my closest friends was trying doing his recording music. He's an artist and he was recording music at this time. He was going to Chicago sometimes recording music. A good brother named D Love is a very close friend of my very close friend's brother. And so we all would hang out and have a good time. And we still hang out sometime now. We see each other and have a good time. And so D Love has or had some form of a relationship with Kanye at this time. I just don't want to misspeak. And I want to say that D Love and Kanye were kind of like cousins-in-law or cousins or something like that. Anybody who is on, if D Love sees this, if Trey, Starks, Jew, anybody sees this, correct me if I'm inaccurate with anything that I'm saying. But nonetheless, we were attending a party at WJLB. It was like a little private music thing or whatever. And so me and my homeboys were at this thing. And so I want to say D Love went to pick Kanye up from the airport because Kanye had business in Detroit. And so I think D Love picked Kanye up from the airport and he came to the WJLB party. And so at the WJLB party, D Love introduced all of us. Of course, we all shook hands. What's up? What's up? And so we were kind of like circled up, kind of like just in a cipher talking. I wasn't doing a lot. I was kind of like seeing what was going on around me. But, you know, I might say something to one of my homeboys, but it was like a conversation going on. But one of the things I do remember Kanye West saying, and this is one of the things that kind of speaks to his genius to me. One of the things I remember him saying was that Metro Detroit's airport was dope and that he was going to shoot a music video in it. And so it was just kind of like a matter of fact. Everybody was just chopping it up or whatever. And so he was like, yeah, the airport, I've never seen an airport like that. I'm going to shoot a music video in it. Well, if memory serves me correctly, on College Dropout, the All Fall Down video with Stacey Dash, I think she's running through Metro Airport. And so I said that to say this. Before the College Dropout album came out, before the video was even constructed, he had an idea in his mind, a creative idea, that he wanted to execute this to be a part of his album. And so think about this. He doesn't have a lot of money at this time. And he has resources. I mean, you know, he was with Rockefeller. He had resources, but it's not easy to call the airport and say, I want to shoot a video or get in the airport or make that happen or evade security or just do whatever. Like, you have to really be crafty to see that through to the end. You see what I'm saying? So I said that to say, to see that and then make that happen, to have that vision and make that happen, it kind of speaks to his genius. And something else I think I remember him saying, he was like, he had to get out, he had to do something, and he had to shoot to California and to go produce some music for a female artist. I can't remember who it was, but that is when he had the car accident. And then he makes the College Dropout album Through the Wire, because the car accident, he was all wired up. And so Through the Wire manifested itself through tragedy. So think about how much of a visionary and creative you must be to create some of your best work through tragedy. So those are the two things that I think about when I think about Kanye West. And And so it is supposed that he is worth $6.6 billion. That could or could not be true. Sometimes these numbers are accurate. It could be more, it could be less. And it has also been it has been also discussed in the media that social media that Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase told him that he has 30 days to get his money out of the bank. So while Jamie Dimon is not Jewish, Jamie Dimon's wife is Jewish. And the reason why I know this is because if you guys know me, you know I study macroeconomics. I know exactly who Jamie Dimon is. I know exactly some of the things that he's done. I know some of the things that he's done. He has been accused of the people on his desk. You know, in the banks, you have desks. You have a real estate desk. You have a gold and silver portfolio precious metals desk. So you have different desks, and people are responsible for the different work, the buying and selling of commodities and assets on that desk. Well, his precious metals desk has been charged with what they call spoofing. Spoofing is when you manipulate the price of gold and silver on the commodities exchange. And it is illegal to do that because you can manipulate the prices by buying a lot of it, then dumping it back on the market. When you dump commodities, the price goes down. And so they manipulate prices. So people who work directly up under him have been charged with crimes. And some people say that Jamie Dimon is actually a criminal. So with that being said, Jamie Dimon, you don't spell it D-I-A-M-O-N-D. You spell it D-I-M-O-N. However, sounds the same, which leads me to believe that he's married to a Jewish woman. He wanted to create the perception that he was Jewish in order to move into Jewish mainstream financial society and be accepted and get opportunities. And so it was probably only through extensive research that the Jewish community realized that he wasn't Jewish, but by then it had been probably too late. You follow what I'm saying? So this is what we have to understand what we're dealing with. This financial group of people are so powerful that people will change who they are to be a part of that group. And so this is what we're dealing with. So now let's discuss some of the things that Kanye said as to why they are claiming that Kanye made anti-Semitic comments. So he said, in every record contract, you're going to see a Jew's name. Jews are control all of the media, print media, well, not the print media, but all of the mediums that we consume. Movie, music, so forth and so on. He also made a statement that I can't defend because I don't know what he meant, that I'm going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews. I don't know what he meant, so I'm not going to comment on that. But the things that I am going to comment on is his statements about Jews controlling the industries, Jews practicing things that are detrimental to the black community. Something else I'm not going to speak to is I'm not going to speak to Kanye West's opinion that we are the original Hebrews, which black people would be the original Jews. I'm going to let the Hebrew Israelites educate us on that because that's not my area of expertise. However, what I will tell you is that my name, Emmett, is Hebrew and it means universal truth or truth in Hebrew. And so I will say that. I will say that it has been argued that the original Jewish people look like this because of the region of the world they came from. And it is virtually impossible for the people who call themselves Jews. This is the argument of some people, that it is virtually impossible culturally, biologically, and geobiologically for the people who call themselves Jews in modern day time to actually be the historic Jews. However, none of those things are important for what I want to talk about. What we need to understand is that regardless if they are original Jews or not, they have decided, they made a decision on who they are. That is what we call self-determination. Self-determination is a group of people decided that they were going to be called Jews and practice Judaism, and they were going to stick to a set of rules, regulations, and codes that would allow them to build up things for them and their people. Now, self-determination is something that black people have claimed to want for many, many years. To name ourselves for ourselves and decide our own religious beliefs, political beliefs, and ideological beliefs and otherwise is something that black people have wanted to do for hundreds of years. So we have a blueprint of a group of people who've done that. We don't have to make other people our enemy just because they do what they need to do for themselves. You can't be exploited if you don't let people exploit you. Now, I'm not saying I support how they do business, but I'm going to repeat what I just said. Regardless if Jewish people or people of the Jewish faith are actually the original Jewish people or not, they embarked upon an exercise in self-determination by calling themselves Jews, practicing Judaism, and building a set of rules, regulations, traditions, and customs that support building up their people. Do you understand that? So it doesn't matter if they are real Jews or not. They have decided for themselves who they are. We, as black people, have wanted to decide who we are for ourselves for hundreds of years, and yet we have fell short. So let me take you on a history lesson as it relates to Jews throughout history that lands us in a place where Jews supposedly have a stronghold on the power structure on all of the media that we consume. So let's start in Frankfurt, Prussia in the late 1700s. In the late 1700s, there was a man by the name of Meyer Rothschild. Meyer Rothschild had 5 sons. He might have had some daughters too, but he had 5 sons. On Meyer Rothschild's deathbed, he told all 5 of his sons this. But first of all, let me backdrop this. Prussia is Germany now. Germany has always had a thing for Jews. You guys know what I'm discussing. Prussia, Frankfurt, Prussia, is now like modern day Frankfurt, Germany. Right, exactly. So Deutschland, or whatever you want to call it. But Prussia, Germany used to be called Prussia. In historic Prussia, there were places throughout the land called ghettos. Ghettos were the only places that Jews could live at the time. During that time, Jews were the most persecuted group in Germany. Germans weren't importing slaves in the 1700s. But this is what I've learned about European culture as it relates to capitalism. In order for capitalism to live, there has to be an oppressed group. Those groups could be fat people. If there's no black people around, those people will be fat people. There will be redhead white people. They will be Chinese people. They will be Indians. But for capitalism to survive, a group has to be oppressed and subjugated. Do you guys understand that? So at this time, in order for capitalism to thrive and for industrial nations moving into the industrial age to grow, there has to be an oppressed group. Because you have to pay them lower wages. You have to justify why you're treating them like shit. You have to have people you can steal from. You have to have people you can exploit. You have to have women you can rape. You have to have men you can rob. You have to have children that you can make work for pennies. So it's automatic that through capitalism, there must be at least one oppressed and subjugated group for capitalism to survive. Do you guys understand that? So now let's fast forward. In Frankfurt, Prussia, in Germany at that time, that group was the Jews. And Jews were money handlers at this time, but they were still oppressed. They were heavily taxed. They were beaten. So you guys familiar with sundown towns? Even in How they had sundown towns. Right. So you're familiar with sundown towns? Well, in Germany at that time, in the Jewish communities that they call ghettos, you guys know where the word ghetto come from now. In the ghettos at that time, they used to chain Jews into the ghetto where you couldn't come out at night. So it was a sundown. When the sun went down, they would lock Jews in the city, in the ghettos, meaning chains would be up on the larger streets and guards would be out. So they could not come back out into the world at nighttime. This is the type of oppression that they understood. So when people talk about Jewish oppression, they began at the Holocaust. But the Holocaust was what we call the apex or the crescendo that Hitler used in order to gain power. Remember, in order for capitalism to exist, a group must be subjugated and oppressed. So what Hitler did was, as soon as Prince Ferdinand of Poland was assassinated, boom, it's wartime. So you start a war, you subjugate a group of people, and you blame your problems on that group of people. And I'm going to go back to Mayer Rothschild in a minute. So you blame that group of people and you rally your people around killing, hurting those people. You can't exterminate 6 million Jews without the support of the German common people. You understand that? So what Hitler did is convince the people that we are dealing with these financial issues because of the Jews. The Jews were the money people. We are poor because the Jews are the money people. We are poor because the Jews are stealing all the money. They're taking everything from us. We kill the Jews and our problems are solved. So it's important for you guys to understand this historic component. So Hitler goes on a killing the Jews campaign. But this is the apex or the physical crescendo. But Jews had been persecuted for 150 years in Europe before Hitler's rise to power. But ultimately, Hitler went on a tirade. He started wars against other European nations, and he basically started ransacking, stealing all their gold. Capitalism can't exist unless you oppress and subjugate a group of people. Why is this important, Emmett? Okay, the reason why this is important, and I'm going to get to everything that Kanye said, and we're going to get back to modern day in a minute, but I must lay this foundation. The reason why this is important is because the Jews understood that they were oppressed in Europe, throughout Europe. The Jews understood that the only way to come out of the oppression was to gain some form of power. And the Jews understood that in order to gain some form of power, they had to be intelligent with their money. They had to be intelligent with their money. No Jews owned banks. They were lenders. They were coin shop owners. They were small lenders like pawnbrokers. So now let's go back to Mayer Rothschild. Mayer Rothschild, the matriarch of the Rothschild banking conglomerate, was nothing more than a coin shop owner, a currency exchanger, and a pawn shop guy. They were not very wealthy. They were heavily taxed by the German government at that time. Because if a Jew made $20, the government wanted 15 of it. So what Mayer Rothschild said to his kids on their deathbed, and I'm gonna get to how these people came to power. What he said to his 5 sons is, before he even talked about money, he said, look out in the streets. They treat us like trash. He basically said they treat us like trash. They lock us in our own homes. They beat us. They kill us. They hang us from street poles. He said, you guys go to each big city in Europe. Go to London. Go to Paris. Go to I forget the capital
Italy.
go to Italy.
Rome.
Go to all of the big cities in Europe and start banks. And he said, when you start these banks, he said, money doesn't mean anything if we as people don't have integrity and we're not treated with respect. He said, you go out and get rich, get money, and you make people respect our people. You cripple them, bring them to their knees until they respect us and take the power. This is what an old dying man told his 5 sons. It does not take 1,000 people to change the world. These 5 men own the world and their children and their grandchildren right now because their father told them, go own it, go take it. 5 white men, about 5'10", 160 pounds. They weren't big, they weren't carrying guns, and they weren't doing any of that. They used this, but they were motivated by a very important concept: self-determination and ownership over everything that you touch. Black people are discussing and begging and talking and meeting to do what these people did. And now that they've done it, everybody calls them evil. Now they may be evil now, because in order to maintain that type of power, you have to begin to compromise your soul. But in the beginning, it started from a simple discussion. A man named Mayor Rothschild talking to his 5 sons, telling them to go start banks, go get money, and make sure that the world respects the Jewish people. So here we are. You don't even know where the Rothschilds live. You don't know their names. You don't know how much money they have. But they have more money than most countries because their father told them to go do it. Now, what does that mean to us? They weren't satisfied with the money. They wanted Jews to be respected. So they bought everything. And even when the oldest Rothschild brother, so during the time of the Napoleonic Wars, Napoleon was going to war with everybody, trying to take all the different parts of the world that Great Britain owned and all so forth and so on. Well, it comes to a point where Napoleon is sent to Elba Island. He's ostracized. He's put in jail on Elba Island. They didn't want no smoke with this little motherfucker, dog. He was a terror. He was a terror, an insane terror, coming, taking whatever, taking everything. Britain was scared of Napoleon. So Britain had to borrow money from the Rothschilds, not Mayor Rothschild. He's dead at this time, but his wife is still alive, his 5 brothers, his 5 sons. So the oldest brother says, we're going to finance both sides of the war. The younger brothers wanted to support Napoleon, just his side. He said, we can't do that because our integrity has to make sure that Britain has at least a fighting chance to win this war, because if somebody like Napoleon comes into power, it's going to cause problems for the world. We have to operate with the integrity that our father taught us. So they financed both sides of the war. And that has been the Rothschilds' MO. They loan people money for wars. They loan people money to take over countries. They loan people money to do things that you can't do without money, right? So with this situation, eventually the Rothschilds are outbid to loan France the money to rebuild. France needed to rebuild after Napoleon destroyed everything. So there was what we would call a RFP, or a bid to loan, because if you loan France the money, what happens?
Interest.
You own France.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and whatever their resources are, they have to pay you interest. If you default, you own France. So the Rothschilds said, this is our opportunity this is where we take over the world. They basically want to loan France the money. They got the best rates. They in the best position. But the Gentiles, the white Europeans, non-Jews, said, we're not letting you loan France this money. And so the oldest brother of the Rothschild family said, well, why are you not going to let us loan France no money? He said, well, I'm going to tell you right off the rip. You disqualified. You're disqualified because you just disqualified. You can guess however you want to guess on why we disqualified you. And so he said, what's going on, Vince? What's up, Jonte? And so he said, oh, it's because I'm a Jew. He said, okay. So what he did was they were going to sell France bonds. And so France was going to sell them their bonds. They were going to buy the bonds cheap. And that's basically how you loan a country money. You buy their bonds. So when we buy bonds from America, we're loaning America money. So if I buy a bond, a treasury, I'm loaning America money. So they were going to buy French bonds. So when they buy the French bonds, they were going to buy them at one price and sell them at another price. So because they didn't let the Rothschild brothers loan France money, the oldest Rothschild brother went and bought millions of dollars. He owned millions of dollars of the bonds because of all of the wars that they had financed with Napoleon already. He sold all the bonds and drove the price down. So that way, whoever loaned France the money, they couldn't sell the bonds to the general public at an elevated price to make a profit because he had ran the price down so low. So when he did that, they came to him begging and said, what do we need to do? You got to let us, you can't do this because you're going to mess up our deal with France. So he said, you got to give me that deal for France, and then I'll make sure you guys financially live. we going to financially kill y'all. We going to financially kill y'all if y'all don't let us do that deal with France. And when he came back and they renegotiated after Napoleon broke out, when Napoleon broke back out of Elba Island, they set them all down and they said, we need to borrow some more money. We got to go back to war. He said, the only way we're going to do that is if y'all start respecting Jews. Tear down all this bullshit. Tell all y'all people, create a new propaganda campaign that Jews are not the enemy. Let people know that Jews are to be respected. All you Gentile white men, if you don't do it, we not loaning you a dime. You don't go to white people and beg them for nothing. You accumulate power and you tell them how it's going to be when they need you. It's no other way. It's no other way. It's no other way. The Jews have already set a blueprint on how you develop self-determination and gain your power in America. And that doesn't even mean you have to have power over other people. You need power over your own life. And the only way you do that is by taking ownership over everything that you own and calling yourself what you want to call yourself. And it's called self-determination. So now let's get back to it. So the British said, these British Gentile white men basically said, these Europeans basically said, okay, you win. These Jews win. And they hated Jews. I'm talking about it's factually documented. So they had to kind of restructure how they interacted with Jews. And what did the Rothschild family do? Get stronger, get stronger, get stronger, get stronger. So now let's go to modern day America. Now they said we're not going to just control the financial systems. We're going to control the mediums, the music. We're going to control the movies because we're going to control every industry because that gives us more power. Now we can control how people think. We can make people think that the Ukraine is a victim, and we can make people think that Russia is a violent, evil place because we own the media, right? So when Ukrainians, I don't know if y'all know this, but there were African students that Ukrainians wouldn't even allow to cross the border. So the Ukraine gets no sympathy from me. That's their problem. Russia and the Ukraine can settle their own problems. It has nothing to do with me. I never want war. I never want people to lose their lives. I never want children to lose their lives. But I cannot be worried about a picking sides between two groups of people who could care less about if I live or die. So getting back to the Jews, or the people the self-proclaimed Jews. And every time I say Jews, I mean self-proclaimed Jews as a disclaimer. So getting back to them. So now they own everything. So now let's fast forward to now you understand why they own everything and how they own everything. They operate from a place that our dignity is first. Our respect is first. We own everything and we ain't playing with nobody. Everybody is our enemy if you fuck with us. We will financially destroy you. Don't fuck with me. They make all these rappers apologize. They do all that because they have power. Don't blame them. Blame the rappers that's apologizing. From what I'm hearing, they saying that Kanye apologized, but I ain't dealing with all the apologies. But these people have done what black people have wanted to do. These people have done what black people wanted to do. Come from up under the oppressive foot of a group of people to become self-sufficient and build your own empire. All of us have been talking about it for 300, 400 years. They did it. So study their blueprint first and foremost. Now, with that being said, Now let's talk about Kanye. Okay, so Kanye said they own everything. Their names are in all the contracts. I'm not gonna defend when he said DEFCON 3. I'm not gonna defend that. And he made some comments about Jews, and I'm gonna explain to you why Jewish people call some of the things he said anti-Semitism, when in reality the things that he was saying were actually facts, and I'm gonna back up with receipts right now. So everybody follow me. I'm getting ready to read some things. These are the motion picture companies that are owned by Jewish people. Paramount Pictures is owned by ran by Chairman Brad Gray, Jewish. Walt Disney, Chief Executive Robert Iger, Jewish. Sony Pictures, Michael Linton, Dutch and Jewish. CBS Corporation, Chief Executive Leslie Moonves. His uncle was the first Prime Minister of Israel. He's Jewish. So there was a statement made by a gentleman by the name of Abe Foxman. He's a Jew. So here in Hollywood, though it appears to be one of the best calling cards in town, talking about Jews running the movie industry. So Abe Foxman said he thinks that there is a high percentage of Jews who run a lot of Hollywood. But he said the phrase "Jews run Hollywood" is a dangerous one. I'm gonna repeat it. A Jewish man said Jews run Hollywood is a dangerous comment. Jews run Hollywood is a dangerous comment. So what he's establishing and what Jewish people have established is certain words you can't say because they have that much power. If a famous person says Jews run Hollywood, that is anti-Semitism. That is insane. That is an opinion. That is insanity. Let's be clear. The reason why a Jewish person who runs Hollywood doesn't want you to think he runs Hollywood is because he doesn't want you to know that he is responsible for what comes from Hollywood. The reason why a Jewish person doesn't want you to think that he runs Hollywood is because he doesn't want you to think that he is responsible for what comes from Hollywood into your kid's brain. The reason why a Jewish person doesn't want you to think he runs Hollywood is because he doesn't want you to think that what comes from Hollywood that you consume, that goes in your brain and your kid's brain, he is responsible for. So that is why Abe Foxman is saying Jews run Hollywood is a dangerous statement. He said Jews run Hollywood is a dangerous statement. That is what a Jew said about people who say Jews run Hollywood. Why is that statement dangerous? It is because of what I just said to you 3 times. Get your mind right. So what he goes on to say is what is true is there are a lot of Jews in Hollywood. He said there's a lot of Jews are in Hollywood. If a lot of Jews are in Hollywood, how is that too far off from Jews run Hollywood? It's because there's a psychological connotation that go with words that will wake people up. Think about it. So, Hollywood Jews just happen to be in all 8 major film studios and ran by men who happen to be Jewish. Wow. So let's go through some of these names. Zach Horowitz is Jewish, and he is the chairman and CEO of Universal Music Publishing Group. Kevin Keller is Jewish, and he's the vice president of Sony. Barry Wise is Jewish, and he was the CEO of Island Def Jam Music until recently he resigned. Rick Rubin is Jewish, and he's the founder of Def Jam. Paul Rosenberg is Jewish, and he is now the current president of Def Jam. Jimmy Levine is Jewish, and he is one of the co-founders of Interscope Records. Rob Stringer is Jewish, and he is the chairman of Columbia Records. Edgar Brofman Jr. is Jewish, and he owned Warner Music Group from 2004 to 2011. Leah Cohen is a Jewish guy, and he owns and manages lots of rappers. He went on to become the president of Def Jam Records, and from there he became the CEO of Warner Music Group. Tommy Mottola is Jewish, and he was the president of Columbia Records for 14 years. Michael Jackson went on record to say that Tommy Mottola was a very evil person. David Geffen is a Jewish man and started Geffen Records. His record company has been put out a lot of negative songs about black people, and it made him billions of dollars. Sumner Redstone is the Jewish man that owns Viacom now, which owns BET, which owns MTV, and he owns 80% of CBS. He makes his profits by peddling poison to American people. So let's talk about what Kanye said.
And let's not forget throwing your boy Ghazi Shami from Empire Records, who we all know is is behind a big conspiracy about all of his about 90% of his rappers being dead right now.
Exactly. So peep that. So these are the receipts based on what Kanye said in his crazy, confusing way. In his crazy, confusing way, Kanye said what I just said. That is a statement of fact. So where hit him with one more.
Hit him with one more.
So I brought the receipts to what Kanye was speaking on. So is Kanye crazy? Is Kanye crazy? Or is Kanye crazy? Now, I didn't bring up receipts because I met Kanye. I didn't bring up receipts because I listen to his music. I don't even listen to Kanye's music. And I do believe that somebody slipped something in Kanye's drink, or either he's being medicated now in order to control anxiety from losing his mother, so forth and so on. However, the statements that he made were categorically accurate. It was just how he said them. And they used what he said to create a perception that he is anti-Semitic. Now, the DEFCON 3 comment I cannot defend because I don't know what he meant. But listen to me. Listen to me. 3 things that we need to learn. 1, Jews were persecuted for many, many years, and that persecution drove them and motivated them to build empires all around the world, financial and otherwise, so their people would garner and gain respect and dignity. Number 2, black people can learn a lot from the blueprint that Jews set forth. I didn't say you have to behave the way that they behave, or carry out their plan to the T the way they carried it out. But their original blueprint is something to be studied, because it is the same thing that black people, particularly us as quasi-revolutionaries and revolutionaries and pseudo-revolutionaries, proclaim to embrace, want, and desire for our people. Now, the final thing that I'm going to say about all of this is they own everything that we consume. Not all of it, but most of it. Raise your hand if you want to own something. I want to own something. We don't have to own things that control other people to capitalize off of their misfortune, but we need to own everything about ourselves. Take the blueprint of the Jews and own your house, own your land, no debt, no credit. Own your car cash, own your house cash, own your land cash, grow your own food, negotiate with your power. People will come to you and say, we can't eat unless we go to the black farmer who got the food. Well, if you want to buy black food, then you respect my people, and my people get to do this. My people get to do that. My people get this opportunity. Loan my cousin a $20,000 for the farm or whatever. You feel me? That is how you get power. Power concedes nothing without recognizing power. Power concedes nothing if it doesn't recognize power. If power doesn't see power at the other end of the table, power concedes nothing. Y'all can have that one because I made that up. So, with all of that being said, where are we? We are in a time where we are so divided that we can turn against our own because they say something and we agree with other people. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-gay. I'm not anti-anything. I'm not anti-transgender. I'm not anti-Catholic. I am pro-black. I am pro-black. I am pro-black, meaning I am pro-African, meaning I have to create a process in my mind where I live in an African place, so I won't expect for people in America to do anything for me, so my feelings aren't hurt, I'm not let down, and I am not discouraged. Does everybody follow me? I am not anti-anything or anti-anybody. I'm pro-African and I'm pro-black. And if you pro-African and you pro-black, you have to be pro-dignity, pro-respect. So that means pro-saving money, not pro-fucking your money up. You can't be blowing everything, tricking it off in the club. You can't waste it. You have to use it as an instrument of power. You fuck up too much money, drinking, smoking, and fucking off money, but then you want to beg a seat at somebody's table. Save your money the way the Jewish people did and use the money as a tool of power. You can't want power and want respect, honor, and dignity, and you carry yourself like a fucking clown. Talking stupid shit on songs, talking stupid shit on the radio, doing dumb shit in movies, doing dumb shit to disrespect your women, talking dumb shit against your own people, arguing with your own people, beefing with your own people, turning your back on your own people, snitching on your own people, stealing from your own people, killing your own people. And it's not just criminals who kill people. We kill people with our words. If you know these people are poison and you fuck with them, then you killing people too. If you sucking off these politicians and all of these politicians, your friend, and you know they fuck over your people, you killing your people too. Y'all kill me with acting like y'all revolutionaries, but y'all support people that y'all know fucking over your community. You can't be a revolutionary and do that. If you want to get real and close a door and talk to me, we can talk about all of it. You can't support these large institutions and then be talking about you a revolutionary through and through. Now, this is what I will give you. There are certain games in America that we must play, but don't psychologically go to that place where you transform into that and forget what you are. But you can't be, paper dollars is a real tool. You can't be out here jacking them off, blowing them, spending them, talking about I'm living my life, I'm getting high, I'm smoking weed, I'm drinking. You can't be a dope fiend and then be smoking dope every day, talking about you a revolutionary. They don't go together. Anything you do every day that makes you an addict, I don't care what it is, you're an addict. And if you're an addict, your willpower is compromised. If your willpower is compromised, there is no way you can step up on the front line and be a frontline soldier in the war on revolutionary cause for black people. There is no way that something can control you or consume you and you have the discipline and wherewithal to be what you need to be for your people. Don't talk me to death. Don't talk me to death. There's no way you can be doing anything where you can be doing anything that compromises your character and integrity and call yourself anything remotely close to somebody who's trying to build some people. And there is no way, absolutely none, that you can make $3,000 a month and spend $2,800 of it on bullshit and not build an empire for yourself and your family and say, I'm living my life, you can't take it with you, and run around complaining about officers killing and gunning black boys down in the street. Because the more fighting, the more power you get, the more influence you have, the more change you can make in all industries, areas, and systems, or you create your own. So all of these things that we complain about, the Jews gave us a blueprint. The so-called Jews gave us a blueprint on how to gain and garner power and use that power to put people in their place and make sure that they respect, appreciate, and never approach us in any way. These people have so much power that they can make you apologize. They can make you apologize. Think about that. This is the power that y'all wanted. This is the power that y'all been asking for. But you don't have it because y'all are not willing to do the shit that the Jews did to get it on the front end. I do not support their population control strategies. I do not support their evil strategies on starving out whole countries and people who are less fortunate or any of that. I'm not on the modern Jew. I'm talking about the process in which and the system, what they created in order to get from being a persecuted, oppressed group of people in the 18th century to being one of the most powerful and influential groups of people on the damn planet. I don't want to be like Jews. I want to be me. I want to be an African. But there is something to be said about the process that they used to go from oppressed to standing with dignity, regardless of how they abused it to take it to another level that may be questionable or evil, in some instances based on some people's opinion. Listen to what I'm telling you. There's a lot to be learned from what Kanye said. There's a lot to be learned about Kayneism, capitalism, and Judaism. I hope you guys were listening today. We get ready to log off. Does anybody have any opinions, questions, comments, or concerns? This is one you must watch. This is one you must share with your people, because this has been burning inside of me. I was up all night because I'm reading things on social media that frustrate me, that people don't even understand what is happening. They got opinions about the superficial aspects of this shit when it's so much deeper.
So deep.
It's so much deeper. So that's all I got for y'all. Peace and love. I love y'all. What's up, Natisha Martin? It's always good to see you on. What's up with you? Hey, sis. I ain't even say what's up to my own sis. Hey, Kim. What's up, nephew? What's up, Vincent Jackson? All my people on today. I see Delana going in with the fire and the 100s. Come on, brother. Teach. Okay. Yeah. No willpower and revolutionary don't go together. Exactly. There you go. So, peace and love. I need to take it. Absolutely. Sis, impact. Inbox me your cell phone number. I think I have it, but it might have changed. Is it like an out-of-state zip? Is it an out-of-state area code? If it's an out-of-state area code, I still have it, and I'll reach out to you and set that up. I mean, we only get an hour for the podcast, so I can only do what I can do, you know. This one, we had to fit this. We might have to fit this one into a show. We might sell this one day. You never know. So it had to fit into that 1 hour time slot. But okay, I'm gonna reach out to you and I'm gonna make sure you get a ticket. All right, peace and love. My party is November 12th. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Call me for a ticket. 313-444-2055. Oh, so you can call me there. It says 313-444-2055. And we can schedule me to drop you one off. Or you can just Cash App the Cash App RQ code on the flyer on social media, and we can go from there. I'll take care of everything, send you the details to the party. It's going down November 12th from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. And light food and light appetizers and drinks are included in your ticket price. So let's get it. Let's go. Let's celebrate my birthday and also celebrate my birthday for a good cause. First 48. Get up with y'all in a minute. Peace.
Warning. You are now tuned